Today we're going to be looking at two different examples of word problems, and we're going to use the key information presented in the word problem to help us figure out what operation we need to do to solve. So let's look together at A, our example A. After breaking up each chocolate bar into an equal number of pieces of the same size, Savannah had 48 pieces of chocolate. If one whole chocolate bar has 8 pieces, then how many chocolate bars did Savannah break apart? So I see some key pieces of information in this question. I see that Savannah had 48 pieces of chocolate. So in my mind, if I were visualizing what was happening, I would imagine that Savannah had these chocolate bars that she was breaking up into equal sized pieces, and then after she broke them all up, she had 48 pieces sitting in front of her. So guess what? I think that is my whole. That is the total number of pieces that Savannah had. So I know that I have my whole. And I also know that in one bar, there's 8 pieces. I know that each of my chocolate bars was broken up into 8 pieces. So I know my whole, and I know I know how many pieces were in each group. I don't know my number of groups. So because I know my whole and I know the number in each group, I know that I need to do division. So my key clue that I needed to do division was that I had my 48 pieces of chocolate as my whole number. So I'm going to write my division sentence as 48 divided by 8 equals n. So I need to figure out how many chocolate bars Savannah had by doing division. So I want to use the equal group strategy to figure out my missing quotient, my missing number of chocolate bars. So I'm going to be dividing out 48 pieces of chocolate into 8 groups. So I'm going to have my 8 groups, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm going to divide out my 48 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. So once I do that, I realize that I have my quotient equaling 6. So therefore, I had 6 chocolate bars. Now I could solve it a different way. I could think of this as a multiplication sentence. I could think, what multiplication sentence would help me solve 48 divided by 8 equals n? So I could rearrange it and say 8 times n equals 48. So to solve this, I could skip count by 8 until I got to 48. So let's skip count together. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. So when I do it that way, I see that I skip count by 8 6 times. So that's how I know that Savannah had 6 chocolate bars. Notice how I wrote my answer as a complete sentence. So now let's look at question B. The teacher bought 2 boxes of Capri Suns for her class. If each box has 10 Capri Suns, then how many Capri Suns did the teacher buy? So I don't know the total number of Capri Suns, but I do know some key information. I know my number of groups. I have 2 boxes. And I also know how many are in each group. I know that I have 10 Capri Suns in each group. So because I know my number of groups, and I know how many are in each group, but I don't know my total, that's when I use multiplication. So I'm going to write my multiplication sentence as 2 times 10 equals C. I'm going to just use a different letter this time. So 2 times 10 equals C. I could use a couple different strategies. I could skip count by 2 10 times. So let's try that one first. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. I skip counted 10 times by 2 and I got to 20. I could also know that 2 times 1 equals 2, so that 2 times 10 equals 20. So how many Capri Suns did the teacher buy? The teacher bought 20 Capri Suns. So today on your practice, really pay attention to what it is that they're asking you to figure out. So again, in part A, we wanted to know how many chocolate bars, how many groups we had. We knew our total. We knew 48 pieces of chocolate was my total, so that's how I knew it was division. If I'm given my total and I'm breaking it up into groups, that's division. But in part B, I didn't know my total. I knew my number of groups and I knew my size of my group. But because I did not know my total, that's how I knew it was multiplication. So really pay attention as you're going through your practice today, thinking, what is it that I'm trying to figure out? And is that going to be multiplication or division?